Have you been wanting to make a gutsy move, but feel like it's too big or you're thinking about it too much and just can't take that next step? Well, my friend, you're in the right place. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Welcome to Women Leaders on the Move, a Her C-Suite Radio podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Benamou, and every week I have the amazing opportunity of learning right along with you from incredible leaders. I'm also the founder of Her C-Suite, where we are focused on portfolio careers in a network that supports you, helps you be in demand and ready for what's next. Speaking of next, my speaker today is LauraAura, and she is a keynote speaker, personal growth coach, and host of the Gutsy Podcast, a top 100 show helping people own their desires and take gutsy action. I had the opportunity to meet LauraAura as a speaker myself with our friend, Adrienne Lawrence. We connected and the rest is history. So today we're going to be exploring these ideas about gutsy moves, and it may be different than what you expect. So let's get started now. LauraAura, I'm so excited to welcome you to Women Leaders on the Move. Thanks for being on the show today.
Oh my gosh, Natalie, I can feel it. This is going to be awesome. Thanks for having me.
We are going to be talking about so many things that are going to light up our audience here today. But I always like to start with a snapshot of bringing us together. I mean, we'll talk about how we met, but a snapshot of you.
I'll give you a quick backstory here. So I've been a business owner for almost 19 years now. So it's been a minute and a half. My background is in branding. I ran a branding agency for 16 years and I loved it until I did not. And, a series of events and a lot of decisions and a couple breakdowns later, I decided it's time to let go of this thing that I've spent 2 decades of my life creating a career and a reputation and skills and talent in. And it's time to go all in on the thing that I really want to do, which is speaking and coaching and hosting the Gutsy Podcast. So while I was running the branding agency, I had started to speak. I was not getting paid for it, but I was speaking at lunch and learns and Chamber of Commerce events and small corporate things. And I just loved it, right? Like I came alive in it. I love that interaction. At the same time, I had already started the Gutsy Podcast. And I was interviewing entrepreneurs about all the things that made them excited and what was stopping them. And retrospect, I can look back and see how my entire branding career was prepping me to be a speaker. But when you're in it, you don't always know or realize that. So, I just got to this fork in the road where I was like, it's time to make a shift and I'm ready to let go of what was and I'm ready to go all in on what is becoming. And so I sold my agency 2.5 years ago to go all in on speaking. So today, current day, I'm a full-time speaker, my friend. I get to talk to women and entrepreneurs and leaders about making the bold moves they can't stop thinking about. I'm a coach, so I coach female entrepreneurs and women that are in pivot points and transitions. And I'm running the Gutsy Podcast. I'm getting real gritty and down in the nitty gritty of how to do this stuff on a regular basis.
I think it's so interesting that you made the gutsy move. We talk about what was our trajectory. So I was in trade shows for 3 decades almost, and shifting to having a women's leadership, portfolio career network. It wasn't really what I envisioned, but I did have a pivotal moment, about 12 or 13 years ago that started me on the journey. And sometimes we don't know that we're on that journey. What do you tell the women that you're talking to or the people you're coaching? Because the messages start coming to us, right?
Oh, absolutely. But we ignore them. Largely, though, because we are taught to go outside of ourselves for answers. And we discount the simplicity of our body speaking to us. And so one of the things that I work with everybody on is getting to know the signs and the symptoms that your body is communicating to you with. Is this a yes or is this a no? What does that feel like in your body? Feeling where you feel like drawn towards and you want to lean in and there's some curiosity, but then your brain's like, oh, but we can't do that. And how would she do this? And you know what I mean? Like there's just things that happen in your body that are laying breadcrumbs, but we sweep them away because, well, that's not real, right? That's not logistical. That doesn't make sense to anybody else. But the wild thing is it doesn't have to make sense to anybody other than you. And so we have to get to know our bodies, notice like what makes us feel alive? Where do we have resistance? Where do we feel pulled back? Where do we feel like there's something about this I don't like, but I can't really put my finger on it? It's such an underrated tool, but once you start using it, you can't not use it. Like it becomes so evident, and it's a compass, and our only job is to use it. So that's probably one of the biggest things that we work on.
Do you encourage people to, is it meditation or is it journaling, or how are they noticing this when the signs are coming? How are they recording it?
To each their own, because what works for one person is another person's arch nemesis. Some people are like, I swear by meditating, that's the only thing that I'll do. Another person is going to be like, if you tell me to do that, I don't ever want to talk to you again. So my method is teaching you, what do we need to start looking for? And then helping you find what form of documentation works best for you. Is it meditating? Is it journaling? Is it noticing? Is it putting in your notes app on your phone, right? Is it just simply pausing and giving that thing a moment to even acknowledge it? So I think the way in which you document it is less important than the fact that you are stopping to notice it in the first place.
I love that, because if you had told me 5 years ago that I would be meditating, I'd be like, talking about, it's so boring. There's no way I'm going to meditate. And now I really enjoy, taking some time for quiet reflection, and there's some meditation I'm not for me. So there's so many different types of meditation.
That's the thing too. Like meditation, I would say probably most of us have one kind of visual about what that is and what it looks like and how you're supposed to do it. But meditation gets to be whatever practice allows you to like clear your mind, channel in, tap in, and ground and center yourself. So I would say for me right now, a form of meditation, if we're going to call it that, is actually going to the gym. I'm not sitting still at all.
Right.
And in fact, I'm listening to very, very hard rock and roll music. Okay. So it's not all wispy and beautiful. I mean, there's a time and a place for that in my life, but when I'm working out, that's not the way. I want to be a little revved up. But that's a form of meditation for me because it allows my mind to shut off. And honestly, I receive so much information when I'm working out that I have to have my phone on me so that I can document it in my notes app. You know what I mean? But it's because we're separated from stuff. So your form of meditation, your form of connection or debriefing with yourself gets to be whatever works best for you. And I think it's important to experiment to find out what that is.
It's so interesting you said that, because I am going to be recording a solo podcast, and it's going to be about running and what does 5K running teach you. And last weekend I was on the beach running at sunrise. That's my favorite. That is my joy place, listening to music and running on the beach. And the downloads, the downloads and the ideas. And I'm like, oh, that's it. Oh, right. And then you're like, run. And then it's like, pause and then take a picture. And then like, there's a little distraction on the beach. But when you're in that, not anything else distracting you, that's when you can really receive interesting things, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm thinking about, if you like gardening, how many times are you out in the garden and you're in the sun and you hear the birds and it's quiet and there's no technology and all of a sudden it's like everything is clear? Or that thing that you've been beating your head up against the wall about, all of a sudden, like, exactly what to do. I think sometimes when we just get in the space that our body really needs and we honor that, it's like, oh, cool. Okay. You've got the space now. Now I'm ready to give this to you. Or I think about like, I get a lot of ideas when I'm driving. I know that's not unique. A lot of people get that as well. Or when you're in the shower, we're not distracted by other things. We're not multitasking. We're not doing 400 things at one time. We're giving our body and our mind the thing that it needs. And when we have space, it has space, right? Our ideas have space. The solution has a space, and we can work with that then. But when we don't slow down long enough to even give our bodies and our minds what they need, I mean, we're trying to force stuff into a place that is, the capacity is not there.
Hey, it's Natalie. I wanted to pop in and invite you to check out our programs, including Next to Lead AI and Next Career. If you're trying to figure out where to go and navigate next, we've got you covered at hercsuite.com. Check it out today. I'm so glad you mentioned force things because I've been intentionally the last year just kind of trying to slow down to speed up, right? And that's so hard for me because I'm type A and I'm like, go, let's go. Get that finish line going. And then the next thing, right? So for people that are listening in and are wondering, okay, maybe there's someone listening that's like, yeah, I can't slow down. What are some of the things that you tell people you work with that are like, here's some tools or here's some ideas of what to reframe how you view slowing down?
Again, slowing down to each their own. My version of slowing down is I'm not personally going to enjoy sitting down on the couch and watching TV or movies all day. There is nothing wrong with that. If that's your jam, do it. But for me, that makes my brain like a wildfire. I remember the eraser that I forgot to give back to my friend in third grade. I remember the email that I didn't send last week that now I'm freaking, you know what I mean? Like that does not work for me. I don't know why we go back into the archives, but that's where my brain loves to go. I think it's really important to understand, like, again, what it is that you need and what works for you, and understanding and defining what does slowing down look like for you. I would say for me, slowing down is disconnecting from my technology. It's doing something new. My husband and I last weekend went to a coffee shop. It's been new it's not new anymore, but it's new to us. It's been here for about 2 years and I've been wanting to go. And I just never have the time, right? Because I'm doing all these other things. And I'm like, let's just do something different. And so we disconnected from technology and we went and got an iced coffee and sat in this funky little spot. And it was so rejuvenating. And that was slowing down. I think it's really important that we also reframe that slowing down does not equate. How do I want to say this? We often tie our worth and our productivity and our success to our busyness.
So true. Yes.
And so I think a big thing that we've got to focus on is reframing what it means to be busy. What does that mean to me? What does that mean to you? What are we making that mean about ourselves? And then how is that fueling our habits that are ultimately keeping us in this hamster wheel that eventually, I'm going to guess you maybe know as well, you're going to go to burnout. I don't care how type A any of us are.
Yeah.
We are not immune to being burnout.
Right.
So I think getting real about like, what does slowing down look like for you? What am I making it mean when I do? And how do I want to choose to use that time instead? Like, I think noticing even those moments, like going to the coffee shop, not revolutionary. I didn't solve any giant mysteries, but I felt so much better. And I've been so much more clear this week. I've had a lot more ideas this week, even in the very, very gray Pennsylvania weather recently. I'm still very locked in. And is it only because of the coffee shop? I don't know. But slowing down and doing what my body needed and disconnecting from being busy, it absolutely contributed to it.
I love that. My husband and I, every Saturday, we go to lunch, because date night is, I'm too tired.
I can appreciate that.
I get up super early, and so by late night, I'm like, oh no, I don't think so. So we have started this, like, we go out and we try different places. We might go and just go to the hardware store. Hardware stores are great for ideas because you're just like curious, things are coming. So it's true. They all, where we get our inspiration can happen in so many different places. As you are interacting with audiences, what are some surprising things that you hadn't expected?
I think what's really interesting is everyone has their own version of hesitation and their own version of what they feel like they're allowed to do. And I think that that's just so interesting because what one person is a no-brainer to is the thing that is literally stopping somebody else from doing everything that they want to do. And it just further proves why we can't and why we should not compare ourselves to anybody else, because everyone is on such a unique journey of their own on different timelines with different experiences and different connections. And, there's just so many different pieces that go into it. But I just always find it fascinating what a big thing is to one person versus another person. And they carry an equal weight. If there's something that you're really wanting to do, but you feel resistant to it, you feel heavy by it, you're overthinking it, it feels complicated, you're worried about what everyone else is going to say or think, what the feedback is going to be, is this actually going to work? I mean, we could keep going, right? Whatever that thing is behind it or that desire behind it is, that's a very real feeling. And so when we start to chip away at like, what's really happening behind this? What's driving these fears? Where am I stuck? How do I need to simplify this? How do I start to build my own self-belief and my own confidence? And I start making like individual one next steps. Watching people crack open in the best of ways will never get old to me. Like, it's just fascinating to see somebody go from, I didn't think that I could do this, or I was so stuck that I couldn't see anything, to now it's my new normal. It's mind blowing every time.
What is one of your favorite things that you've seen in that process? Like, what's a favorite outcome that you've seen? Someone really having that moment.
One of the first ones that always comes to mind is a gal that I was working with that was in an abusive relationship, a very unfortunate situation. And she messaged me one day and she's like, I don't know what to do. I'm terrified. She had some support, but she's like, I don't believe that I'm allowed to leave. And a couple of sessions in, she's like, that's it. I'm not going to do this anymore. And this is after years of dealing with this situation. She sold the house that he made her buy. She locked him out. She called the cops on him. She moved back to her hometown and got away from him. It's situations like that that really make you realize how quick we unintentionally give away our power, how certain people or situations can have a hold on us and make us believe that we have no options. But being around the right people at the right time with the right message and taking the smaller steps, right? It wasn't just one big flip. She started to make some little moves behind the scenes. She got out of the situation. And it's incredible to see that. I also think about another gal in business that I've been working with who, when she came to me, she's like completely feeling like she already had a business, by the way, a successful business that she did not feel like it was successful, but very, very much successful. But she didn't feel like it was a quote unquote real business. And so we did some work. She was feeling scattered because she didn't have systems. She didn't have processes. Like, that's why she wasn't feeling like it was a real business, because a lot of it she was winging. And so we started to put some things in place. We started to put some structure in place. We started to notice where her time was being spent, that it needed to be, redelegated elsewhere. And she hired her first employee and she started to step back and she's like, this is a very successful business. I'm like, yeah, it is. The difference was now she believed that it was a successful business because she felt like it was, because she felt supported within herself. You know what I mean? Like, she had the right team. She had the right tools in place. She was able to step away. She was able to go on a 2-week vacation to Europe. Like, things happened because she got out of the trenches. She made the moves. She did the uncomfortable stuff. And now she's running what she truly now believes is a successful business because she feels like it is. So, I mean, there's a million different, stories and situations, but those are two that just kind of come top of mind, that it almost always starts with a woman that doesn't believe that she can. And then she gets in the right space and we start to make the small moves. We are very rarely flipping tables over, right? I think sometimes people associate making gutsy moves with doing really big, risky things. And every once in a while, sure. But more often than not, it's making the small moves behind the scenes that most people would never see. And when we start doing that, we start to build momentum. When we have momentum, we get more clarity. When we have more clarity, our confidence starts to grow. And then we start to see and feel the changes around us. And then all of a sudden you're like, whatever I was tolerating before, yeah, not going to happen. We're done with that, because now I have a taste of what it feels like to be me. And that, my friend, becomes non-negotiable.
So good. And I think about being around the right people. So you could be around people that are contributing. And I don't know, those two examples, if maybe the people that were in the lives of those people were contributing in some way, even if they seemed supportive, maybe it wasn't supportive, right? And so once you shift, and that's how we met, through Adrienne Lawrence, so shout out to her, being around amazing women that can lift you up as you're on that journey. how have you seen that where someone might be like, it's that sideline cheerleader unexpected, that one text message when you're feeling like, I just don't know. I don't think I'm successful. You get these messages and everyone's like, you're so successful. And you're like, why? Because I'm posting on LinkedIn. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, okay. So sometimes outwardly people see, this persona, but inwardly everyone has those messages. So we need those women that are around us. What have you seen in that regard that's really helped?
Yeah, never underestimate the power of a simple, kind message to somebody. A text, a DM, an email. I was feeling a little funky a couple of weeks ago, just like I'm not where I want to be yet, and the attraction's not there, and it's been gray forever, and I was just not feeling very good that week. And wouldn't you know, the universe is like, we got you. And I just started getting emails from women that listen to the Gutsy podcast. Started getting some notes from some of my clients. I started getting just like some random messages telling me how much I'm making an impact in their life. And I was like, okay, we often feel like we're not doing enough, but to somebody else, it's everything. So that's why I say, don't underestimate the power of a simple message to somebody. You just never know. If somebody pops up in your mind, if you haven't talked to somebody in a long time, if you just have something to say or somebody's impacted you, please take the 2 minutes or less that it takes to send that message, because it might be exactly what that person needs in that time and in that season. And to even take that a step further, I work with a lot of women in business. And one of the biggest things that I see and hear is, I've got a good support system in my life, but none of them understand my business. They don't know how to talk about business or to help me like work through some of the challenges that I'm facing or how to brainstorm about stuff. Like they're always just, well, that's cool. Great job. They truly mean well, but it's just not their world. So they don't know how to talk about it in the depth in which you need to talk about it. And so being in a space, right, whether it's business, whether it's motherhood, whether it's, corporate careers, whatever the thing it is that you're in, find a group of people that understand and can talk in the depths in the way that you need, in a way that they understand what you're going through, the unique challenges that you face, the ideas that you have. Be in a space where people really, truly understand you, because the nurturing that can happen there is out of this world.
I love what you said about being around people that understand what you are doing, because it can be hard, especially if you change, you make a gutsy move and you sell your company and now you're a speaker and people be like, LauraAura, why are you doing this? I don't understand. I loved what you were doing before. You probably get that. What do you do with the doubters when they say things like that?
Easier said than done, but you have to be so completely locked into who you are and why you're doing it that their words don't get to penetrate your energy. Way easier said than done. And listen, after a couple of comments, it's like, oh, you start questioning yourself. But again, being intentional about who you're talking about these ideas with. Not everybody gets the depths of what you're doing and what you're going through. And at the end of the day, why does their opinion of what you're doing matter than your own? We have to really zoom out and say, okay, they don't like what I'm doing, or they're questioning what I'm doing. Well, maybe their question isn't because they're doubting me, maybe because they're curious. And in the moments where they are doubting you or they are being turds, why are we going to let this negative Nancy like impact our life? If you're that miserable, if you're that down about somebody that's doing something that's important to them, you don't get to reside in my world. No, thank you. I don't have capacity for that crap. But that comes with being really, really in tune with who you are and what you want to do and why that matters. Like, I'm sure that there were some people that were like, she's selling her agency. She's leaving that. What is she doing? How's she going to do this? None of them asked me, maybe because they know that I'll probably give it right back to them. But even if they did, it just wouldn't matter. Like, it might matter in a moment. It might feel like something in a moment. But at the end of the day, nobody knows my mission and my body better than I do. And that comes back to where we first started today, is noticing how that feels in your body and saying, okay, even if a comment does get to me, talk about social media, everybody's got an opinion on there. And sometimes after a while, that stuff gets to you. we're all human beings. I don't think anybody is void of feeling some kind of way when people come at them. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I have to at some point choose not to absorb that, because what I feel in my body is that this is the right thing for me. And I'm feeling better and I'm feeling more clear and I'm getting my health back and I'm happier and I have more downtime and I'm able to be more present. Okay, you don't like that? Well, what kind of person are you? Do you know what I mean? It's usually a projection of a fear that they have of something that they either can't see themselves doing what you're doing, or it invokes a fear in them about something that they're not doing.
What is one thing we can end with that would just help our listener do something that would lift her up in this moment? Whether it's getting clear, or what would you suggest? One small thing, because we're talking about small things. It doesn't have to be, we don't have to, start a business today, but what's a small thing?
I want to remind you that you are allowed to want what you want. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody. You don't have to have it all figured out today. You don't need a perfectly curated plan in order to start moving towards it, but you are allowed to want what you want. And so today, I would suggest your one next step is to do something that you want to do. Let it be simple too. You know what I mean? If you've been wanting to replace the hangers in your closet so that they all match, do it. If you've been wanting to go to that new coffee shop that you've been talking about for 2 years, go get the coffee. If you've been wanting to overhaul something on your website because it's been irking you, do it. You know what I mean? Pick one thing that you keep thinking about. It's nagging at you. You're like, I've been wanting to do this. And every day you're looking at it. Give yourself permission to do that one thing. It doesn't matter how big or small or impactful or whatever it is. If it's for you and it's for good, do it.
So good. Oh, I love it. Well, thank you for taking the time today to be with me. I loved this conversation. And if people want to find out where you're speaking, what you're up to, what's the best place for them to go?
Yeah, if you go to LauraAura.com, it's LauraAura.com. That is the hub for all things me, my friend. You can find links to the Gutsy Podcast there. My mastermind is on there and all my social links. My handle is at that LauraAura on all the things if you want to come play with me online.
So good. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you for holding this beautiful space, my friend.
Thank you for spending your time with us today. If you found this podcast helpful, will you share it with a friend or colleague and take less than 60 seconds? Rate and review the show. It's how others find us. And I would love it if you would visit us at hercsuite.com, where we have programs that help you on your journey. As always, I want you to remember that you matter. Keep shining your light bright. The world needs you.